Hello and welcome, Couch Co-opers. I hope you are all well. New video from Oscar Cooper. 5 more PS4 Couch Co-op games. Let's see what we got. I'm going to start with a little bit of a moan about Tabletop Racers World Tour. Was free for us a long time ago. Now, I swear, I'm not having a senior moment here, but it said it was 2-player on the store. I went and checked the other before the video, and it's changed. I don't know how they've managed that, but they've changed the description on the store to 1-player. And had removed the split screen mode from Tabletop Racers World Tour. Someone comment on this. Did you play it ages ago? Did it used to be in there? The whole thing's really annoyed me because Michael and I are putting together some arcade racers stuff, and this was supposed to be on there. It's not. Tragedy. Anyway, we shall crack on. First up, the official number 5 on the list is Human Fall Flat. It is available physical copy and costs $18 currently on the store. Gang Beast vibe with this one, big time. I had a look at the developers and stuff. I thought that they might have done both games, but they haven't. This one leans a lot on PvE. In actual fact, it is only PvE. What I mean is there isn't any versus modes on here. As you know, points lost there for me, but there's a hell of a lot going on with the map design and physics engine. This game's full of cool physics. Both characters have this sort of awkward Stay Puff look to them, and they waddle around, and you have the arms on the R buttons. Just like Gang Beast, you reach out and grab a surface and can do a rudimentary climbing with it all. It is fun straight off the bat, and it looks okay, runs nicely. There's a lot of imagination with these set pieces and these puzzles. But for me, it's just, I don't know, if at that price, and I want to have some hardcore fun with these sorts of physics, I want to see violence. I want to see stuff thrown around. This kind of does scratch some itches, though, in those directions. The score or the music is surprisingly well done, and the split screen idea is also smooth and works well. This game is worth the money. There's a massive amount of content with the maps and DLC falling around everywhere. It's huge, but it's not going to be an experience for everybody. It's a puzzler through and through, but there are some hilarious moments, and you've probably seen it on the streams and stuff, with just how daft things get with trying to do a simple job. What I would like to have seen is more customization on either of the characters. I don't like how identical they look, and I want to see more tools and implementation. If you've ever played Portal, or if you've ever played, you know what I'm talking about. There's just games that do this a hell of a lot better. But reminding everybody that we bloody don't have Portal 2 on the PlayStation 4, which I get disappointed about just about every time I get up in the morning. So if you're a huge fan of puzzlers and a huge fan of Gang Beasts and have exhausted all of that content and aren't too bothered about not being able to throw your mate into a burning pit of fire and do want to work together for some awesome puzzles and satisfaction, then Human Fall Flat is basically the game for you. But just bear in mind, what you're seeing here is all you're getting with the game. And we've got some goddamn dingers coming up, including a game I didn't realise was on the PlayStation 4, and it's gone and changed everything. Front Honeymoon, $12, not available physical to my knowledge, and available on the PlayStation Store so far only. Haven't found this one. And by the way, I looked at 947 indie games on the PlayStation Store to check if they had a 2-player description on them. That's how I'm doing it now as well. You got me doing the fun stuff for you, don't worry. This is a twin stick, right? But there's a RTS strategy element. That's like a red rag to a bull. A bull in a red rag china shop for me, because I love strategy, and there's a versus mode, but it's got some issues with its depth. I'll talk about that in a sec.
Give me some action.
So you're independently controlling those two little dudes there, and you're trying to get a structure on those orange hexagons. You can kill yourself by dropping a structure on your head, a la Helldivers, which is pretty cool. But the other team, or the AI controlled team, will either have a structure already there, or you have to, destroy a lot of the waves of troops. You can only build one of two structures so far, and it's a turret and it's a barracks, and the troops are controlled on an L2 button, and you just move them up with you or push them further down. It does work, but it worries me that endgame will not change from this format. What I mean by that is only having two choices of what to put down on one of these orange hexagons. It just seems a bit bland at the moment. But let's see. But we'll get on to the interesting bit, because the co-op campaign, although it's great to have that with somebody, is not really changing any lives from my side. So yeah, I saw that on the menu. I'm like, deathmatch, holy shit, right, let's go straight there. Because I was thinking, when I saw the trailer on the PlayStation Store, I was like, this is awesome, because we could have 4 people, each taking a corner. Shit's just going to hit the fan big time. And sure enough, that does happen. You need to get to these orange blocks at the start to be able to put your structures in. It starts to sort of become an idea of ratios, where you have a decision to make about whether you're going to put down a barracks to give you more support on the troops, or whether you're going to put down a turret to hold a position and get backed up. It's kind of like StarCraft in fast forward at a 1% of the depth. Are you with me? But it is a hell of a lot of fun, and it does look good. And if I was to come up with an idea for a game, it would not be too dissimilar to this. But the trouble is, there's no game turning ability or sort of game ending thing that you can do to the other player to completely wipe them out. So they need something else, like, I don't know, a nuke or something, because what was going on is there was a stalemate happening, and we got to, it's a great comeback here, I'm the blue character, but I got to get to 50% of the map one, and then that was that. There was nothing that we could do to push each other over the edge, but there was these white things appearing on the ground, and you can see a meter around our characters, and I think that pushes to an upgrade. But they were few and far between, and again, if you're racing to upgrade, then you're not really changing the game map much. And this is what went on. I fast forwarded it because we just couldn't. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't exciting. Plateaued. That annoyed me, because there is substance with this game. My advice on this one is, you'll know straight away if this is something you want. If you like what you see here, you understand twin stick shooters, you've got somebody who also wants to push on the strategy and go toe to toe with you, go for it. Nom Nom! Nom Nom Galaxy from Pixel Junk. It was free as well. I think it was free about probably over a year ago. I avoided it because of the name, like an idiot. Didn't spot that it was from the best couch co-op developers on the PlayStation 3 and probably PlayStation 4 indie scene. Pixel Junk are just amazing. I love them to bits. And I should have looked at this earlier. It should have been on the channel earlier. So again, I'll apologise to you all. But yes, beware. There's about an hour and a half of single player content that you've got to get through before you can even get that split screen going. Please do that before the individual comes round that's going to be playing with you. Otherwise, they will be sick to death of looking at the game by the time they actually get to play. But we did get to play, and wow, it's awesome. It's a side-scrolling resource management and construction-y, building, mining, Terraria, Minecraft vibe. That is not the best of pictures, but you get the idea, and this is so cool. Look at the curve on the split. So the whole thing is, the world is a massive spherical map. Well, but it's curved, and I love that idea of having an unbridled access to every bit of resource, every skill. You can just go crazy on this game, but what you're doing is building a factory that makes soup to send it to another planet, and you're competing with another soup manufacturer. They're called Poco Soup Limited. They're up there on the right. They're also doing that on another map somewhere else, completely out of control, obviously, but it's weird how you're competing for soup production rights. Structure placement and power, and the way that you've made the tunnels, and how you've got access to different areas where food grows, and machinery, a goddamn rocket-powered skateboard, a shotgun, a sword, AI invasions from above. Everything is in here. It's massive. It deserves at least 100 hours, I would say. It's a perfect game for you and your kid, or you and another couple. Swingers, you and a swinger. Yeah, It's great for everybody, whole family. Huge game. Pixel Junk have gone beyond the pale with the amount of content they need to put in an indie game this size. It's amazing. Any decent couch co-oper should know about this game, and I'm quite surprised I wasn't hammered on the comments for not having it on a video before, but that's by the by. And that also reminds me that I want some ideas for I'm doing a definitive list, because it's been 2 years now since I did that top 15 or all time. I'm going to do a definitive, and if you want your favourite in there, you get your comment in then, because I'll look at it and I'll consider it. Give me your top 5, everybody. And I'm also doing Game of the Decade. That's what I'm working on in the background. You might have noticed that my videos I'm keeping them weekly. I will keep them weekly, but sometimes they might be a bit late because I'm finishing loads of massive games like Red Dead and a lot of work. There's a lot of work going on. But anyway, I digress. Look, I've just built my first soup rocket. That is a thing that you put the cans of soup in and it fires them off. You need a whole row of them going. Amazing. And you need to be delivering the ingredients to even make the damn cans and procuring those ingredients from sometimes quite dangerous areas. Some of the non-player creatures are amazing. Violent, scary stuff goes on miles away from the base when you're trying to go and get the food or a different ingredient that you're looking for. With its easy access, don't worry about that 1.5 hours single player stuff. It's amazingly simple controls, it's Pixel Junk character and awesome depth. Nom Nom is a no-brainer, and number 3 on the list. Oh, what's he doing? He's doing that weird thing where he puts these like random old game. 2014 Coop. What the hell, man? You're digging up the rubble now. Well, I'm not, because this game is absolutely amazing. It's called Castle Storm. It is very old. It's from Zen. It's $18.99 US on store. Can't see it physical. It did have a good old Google. I'm surprised it isn't, because it was a definitive edition that I brought. Anyway, the game models. All right, think Peggle, Angry Birds, and any cool tower defense game you've played, bridled into an amazing split screen versus map with some of the best voice acting, character model, and rendering on individual NPCs or playable characters. It's a brilliant package. It's almost got a Pixar like quality of animation on everything. I love it to bits. So one of your analog sticks controls this ballista that you can see you've got the trajectory on, and the other analog stick controls the view, so you can scroll up and down on this map, zoom in, zoom out. There's no hindrance on what you can and can't see, and that's great. And of course it's duplicated on both screens. Now you can see that there's a hotkey system, and it's very reliant on what you've chosen and what you bring to battle in the preparation screen. You can see here that I got like a sort of streak bonus and managed to then fire loads of boulders, which is what you want to be firing at the building behind your opponent's ballista to then crumble their army, quite literally. Because if they lose a room that a soldier would be training in, they no longer have access to that on their hotkey bar. There's infantry ground level troops, right? And there's special infantry ground level troops you can bring in, like hero characters that will just dominate the map for a tiny bit of time. Before I fired this game up, I was like 2014, oh my god, I was preparing myself for some real jank. And do you know what I kept saying to it when I was playing this, especially the single player campaign? The single player campaign is really good, I'm addicted to it. I kept saying to myself, they don't make them like this anymore. They don't make indie games like this anymore. This is from the PS3 sort of prime period. We had it on Xbox Live as well, over with the 360. Indie games back then, some of them, when they were made well, they were made so well, and this has got so much love and character in it. I'm gonna be having this on my library setup for a very long time, because it's just gonna give me so much satisfaction. The tension on some of the situations are incredible. I'm firing an arrow at the opponent who's got my flag and they're about to drop it off, and I got an arrow right in the back of their head just at the last minute before they were about to. It didn't stop them, but it was a really tense scene where they were creeping away, trying not to let them notice that they were about to win, and I'm shooting them in the back of the head from my ballista. It's incredible, and I really love the maps as well, and the backdrops of these maps. The detail on them is beautiful when you zoom in, and having a strategy with a healer monk that's then followed by these little dudes on a donkey, that's then followed by a massive guy with a sword. You can try these different combinations, and then I love zooming in on your actual hero character, and he will rip it up. And this is such a tense bit of gaming where I literally go up to the front door of my opponent's castle with my hero character. You've got a guard button as well. It's full-blown side scroller. It's like Trine. It just turns into a great side scroller, and they're just whacking it at me, and I'm going toe to toe with the ballista. It's the prep screen that gives away this game's depth. Constructing an army and putting together what you're going to fire from your ballista, or what troop type you're going to have, and where you're putting them in your castle is massive. I cannot believe I wasn't informed of this. There needs to be a newsletter. There needs to be the Couch Co-op Chronicle, right? Because this would have been fucking front page news. Yes, in September last year, we got Castle Crashers for the PlayStation 4. A game that nearly persuaded me to buy an Xbox. So Cuphead and Castle Crashers were the two couch co-op games that I envied to death that I didn't have on my PlayStation 4. Cuphead's just been pushed onto the Switch, and I have access to it on Steam, and I've also owned Castle Crashers on Steam for bloody years. But PlayStation 4 remastered. I mean, River City Girls, you saw my joy with that. This is the best side-scrolling beat-em-up available on the market as an indie game, not physical. $15. In actual fact, I think the Switch version, I think that is actually physical. But hell and high water, this game is a lot of fun. With massive action RPG elements and upgrading and XP and different hotkey weapon slot-ins and a wealth of different characters, all with these really cool different special moves, including a guy that summons a giant frog. Castle Crashers does not hold back on being one of the most awesome indie games we've ever had on the modern consoles. Probably in the last 10 years. It was a ground when it fell off my chair, and I found it by accident. I can't believe PlayStation don't just put a banner ad on the store in the co-op section that they don't have in the store, that they got this. Just can't believe it was that quiet a release. So wow, I'm a very, very happy bunny, and I mean, Jesus Christ, does this deserve to be number one on the list? I'm going to finish it again, so 4-player as well, doesn't mind that at all. Whole campaign is geared up for everybody to enjoy. The bosses are some of the most hilarious I've seen for a long time. This art style keeps on giving, quite literally. Some of the attack patterns and attack moves on these bosses, and even the villages you go in and the non-player characters, even the castle or the blacksmith, stuff is everywhere in this game to make it cool and better, especially with the additions of this being a definitive mode of it all. Did you lot all know about this? If this happens again to me, it's going to be seriously embarrassing to have a massive game like this completely sneak under my radar and turn up on a list like 3 months after it was available on the system. So again, I think I owe you all an apology, and also some slap wrists to anybody who knew that it was around. But I digress. I'll finish up. I wanted to show you a really cool mode in the game that's a massive mixture of Kirby and Crypta the Necro Dancer, which is the name, I've got that completely wrong, but you know that roguelike where you're choosing a direction to go in, vice versa, what the enemy is doing. And it's called Back Off Barbarian, and again, that is also available in 4-player, and that has some extreme tense moments. I'm so impressed that that mode's even there, didn't even know about it. Check it out, it's very, very funny. Just a quick one, we've got the Darksiders Genesis 14th coming out, massive couch co-op RPG.